Hello there, my fellow weary travelers. This is your Dark Nerd Rises, Andre Dion Moore speaking. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. It's Sunday, and I know we're going to be getting ready for the new week. It's going to be another eventful week, of course, if you keep up with politics and world events and everything. So let's see what happens, within the next coming days and so. But I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, and that I want to sit there and say thank you again. My channel is growing pretty quickly, and I'm surprised by this. 8.3, I believe, or 8.4 now views. Thank you. I want to sit there and say that from the bottom of my heart, seriously, right here, right in Superman's heart, right there. Thank you for being, you know, so considerate and being patient with me as I continue to let this channel grow and hopefully, be able to ask for like small little donations down the line, or however you want to call it, pledges, anything, just so I can help build this up a little bit more and everything. When you work with the phone, it's kind of hard to get a good quality, but I just want to sit here and say thank you to all who all have been there. So please, spread the word about this new channel. I'm wanting this to be something a little bit more of a permanent thing down the line, along with focusing on what where I can work in line with doing focus on my acting and theater work and all that. And when I want to have some theater content too coming, so please bear with me and a lot of different content too. So please, thank you for staying along. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the like buttons too on any of my posts and everything. And please feel free to leave a comment. It to me right now when I hear feedback that encourages me and that helps me grow and know what you folks would like to hear and see. So like right now, I'm doing something that I'm a little bit more comfortable with and knowing and explaining, um, you know, from my head a little bit. So like if I do talk and say anything, that's a little jumbled and all that, which I do stutter by the way, and I get confused and all that. But the thing is that I'm coming this from my heart, and I want to share. It's great to share the same knowledge with people who understand how I'm feeling. So, all right, let's get started. The state of the DC Comics continuity. I believe this is part three. I believe we started the first two with pre-crisis, the beginning of the DC multiverse, beginning 1956 with the Flash, introduction of the Flash, the Barry Allen version, and then also later on with Green Lantern, and then the introduction of the Justice League, and then later on Flash 123, Flash of Two Worlds, which definitely introduced the multiverse saga and led into the events in the Justice League of America original series, The Crisis on Parallel Earths, whether it was Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, all of those issues mattered. And then after that, we went into the Crisis and then post Crisis, and what Crisis in itself did to reshape this DC Comics at that period. It destroyed worlds. It created a new world. It created new. It gave updated origins and newer origins to existing characters, especially with the big three trinity that was Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and gave new life to the Justice League, which became now Justice League International. But then also there were continuity errors too, with Wonder Woman not being the sole female founding member, and Batman and Superman technically not being founding members. That led to the revamp of the Justice League of America origin, which was what they introduced Black Canary into that and so forth. And later on, with the revisions of the Flash, keep that in mind, making him Wally West after the death of his mentor Barry Allen, or should I say, death of his mentor. You had the new success and run of the Flash, and also the introduction of the Timothy Truman Hawkman, and I point that out series, Hawk World, should I say? I point that out because in the classic original continuity, Katar Hall and Sierra Hall were people were aliens from the planet Thanagar who were space cops that came to Earth, and they were part of the classic Justice League of America lineup. Well, they took them out and made them brand new characters like they did, like George Perez did with Wonder Woman, and then later on, say around that after that, they did the same thing in Hawk World, which caused a continuity glitch. How did that work? They put in the Golden Age Hawkman, which was Carter Hall and Sierra Hall, and we'll go into that, in the next coming up right now a little bit in this video, what happened with that and everything. But overall, though, the DC universe at that period, beginning after 1985 and 86, was a changed universe. You had the introductions of the Watchmen, of the Vertical line, the import of British writers such as Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, and Grant Morrison. Keep that in mind. Those guys helped revolutionize an industry and how they push forward, newer concepts and, on how superheroes can be perceived. Alan Moore with Watchmen, Neil Gaiman with Sandman, Grant Morrison at that time with Doom Patrol and Animal Man. You had so many different, the crisis opened up so many avenues, but yet it created so much of a convoluted continuity issues, like I just mentioned with the Justice League, their origin. Let's look at, with the origin of Power Girl, who was originally an older version, Earth 2 version of Supergirl at that period. Supergirl, of course, had perished at that time. And then later on, she was kind of reintroduced as a completely different character. But Power Girl was left seemingly out of the Power Girl and Huntress, let me correct that, were the two that were left out of the original Crisis. Both of them got updated origins. Huntress, no longer the daughter of the Batman and Catwoman on Earth 2, she became a mom's daughter, but there was in Gotham City, godfather of in Gotham City. But later on, it was revealed that she was inspired by Batman. So there's that little kind of tinge there and so forth. Then with Power Girl, her origin was so convoluted, it was hard to figure out who she was, whether she was an Atlantean, someone sent from the Atlantis' future by Arian, but with the false memories after he foresaw the coming of Superman. He made her into like his cousin, and really that was never really rectified once the crisis happened. So it left a lot of gaps there. And so DC, after going through their successes with the death of Superman, Batman's Nightfall, and then the one that would lead into it, Emerald Twilight, and Green Lantern, which saw Hal Jordan turn into the menacing known as Parallax. That right there opened the door for DC to do some streamlining of their new line called, and they called it Zero Hour. They were trying to restructure their timeline, not per se since the multiverse at that time was wiped out, but it said that it allowed Zero Hour to at least try to do a smoother timeline and explain some of the continuity errors or voids that were needing to be filled. And here's a little storyline of it. Let me read this here. It says, in the storyline, Hal Jordan, a member of the intergalactic police force known as the Green Lantern Corps, goes mad with grief after the destruction of his home of Coast City during the reign of the Superman storyline, and attempts to destroy and remake the DC universe after obtaining immense power as Parallax. These issues of the limited series were numbered in reverse order, beginning from issue 4 and then ending with 0. The crossover involved every DC Universe monthly series published at that time. So pretty much all of the, and I remember that all of the publications were involved in that, because this was something huge and affected every inch of the character. And here it says that it was the follow-up to the Crisis of Infinite Earths limited series. The series served as an opportunity to reconcile continuity problems left unaddressed by Crisis and other problems that had been unintentionally caused by it. In particular, the revised characters of the post-Crisis universe have been rolled out gradually, with DC continuing to feature old versions until the new versions were launched. So basically, what that means is that the newer version with the older versions, it was a gradual process, basically. And the newer versions that had come out of that, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman remained intact. But one character that came out of it was the fact that they were trying to reconcile Hawkman, and they put together Kadar Hall, and other aspects of Hawkman. They used his um, reincarnation ability, his reincarnation, to become one Hawkman with one Hawk God. It didn't make sense, but that was the way they were trying to figure that character. Um, it also basically tried to give a timeline of how superheroes debuted, where to debut, and everything. Superheroes that were affected. It decimated the original Justice Society of America. Many of them were aged out and just completely died. It opened up the door, though, for someone like Wally West and the Flash. It opened up the idea of the Speed Force after that. It gave, new abilities to that. And with Wonder Woman, remember that, because she's pretty much the central figure in what I was talking about. She became Wonder Woman right after that, right when art writer John Byrne took over. She had died and become a goddess, and so then her mother took over. But once her mother took over, her mother took a trip to the 40s, and with that, and that's where you have the new introduction of a thing called hypertime, which allowed DC to fill those voids in. Well, the void with Wonder Woman not being in the first off, the Earth 2 Wonder Woman not being around and not being a member of the Justice Society, joining as a secretary, which initially actually was her debut in All Star Comics number 8. She was retconned by Hippolyta. So instead of Diana as Wonder Woman, you had Hippolyta as Wonder Woman, and she took the place of all of the original Golden Age adventures. The difference is, you look at the costumes, and people will look back and go and read the original comics. They say they fit well together, but the thing is, there's those little nuances there. Besides, it's supposed to be Diana in that role. So you have those continuity errors right there. And after that, DC Comics continued on. But yet there was a discussion about how they were able to keep their history going, and how they were able to, still try to fill out as much as the continuity errors there was. And really, in between the period after Zero Hour, that was around 94, I believe, and then you had the introduction of maybe new comics by Grant Morrison, the JLA issues, and plus, I'm going to post up here on my background and all that, the JLA incarnations, which allowed them to put Superman and Batman actually in Justice League canon again. So you had, like, again, Hyper Time, Zero Hour, see what I mean? It allows those features to go. And soon, right after that, though, something new happened, and a little thing where they were discussing maybe bringing back the multiverse in a new, different form. Well, that led to me, and I am sorry, I am trying to type up Infinite Crisis, but again, Infinite Crisis was, to me, the follow up to the Justice League, to the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And right then and there, let's see, Crisis. There we go. Pull that up. Let's see. Yeah, folks, I'm working from a tablet, by the way, so please forgive me. With Infinite Crisis, okay. This series was set as a sequel, as a limited series to DC's 1985 limited series Crisis on Infinite Earths, as I just said, which rebooted most of the DC Comics continuity in an effort to fix over like 50 years of contradictory history and so forth. And it allowed the existence that there was a multiverse before that. And it allowed people and characters to come back in forms that you never would expect. So, you had the setup overall was, you had Alexander Luthor, the son of Wonder Woman, of Lois Lane and Lex Luthor of Earth 3. He was the only hero in the criminal Earth run by the crime syndicate. He, after the original Crisis, he and 3 others, Superboy Prime, Earth 1, Earth 2 Superman, and Earth 2 Lois Lane, were the only remaining ones outside of the new continuity, and they were able to see everything that was happening, and they were disappointed. very disappointed. More so with Earth 2 Superman, he wanted to bring back his Earths. And just because of that, though, there was something that was acknowledged that, first off, when it came to the history of the DCU, Superman was that focal point. So Alexander Luthor was able to use Superman, both Supermen, to help create a newer multiverse that came about. And after the events that happened with that issue and everything, long story short, Earth 2 Superman had passed away along with Wonder Woman. So did Alexander Luthor. And of course, Superboy, mad with rage after his Earth had disappeared, he became the villainous Superboy Prime, as we all know now. But with that, it was revealed that in the miniseries called 52, the new multiverse was born. And it was a way for them to bring back the multiverse, maybe work on some of the different Earths at that time, following Crisis on Infinite Earths. Following Infinite Crisis. Well, around at that time too, there were some continuity issues with that, because you had the Prime Earth with all of the superheroes on here, but you also had another Earth 2 with another Justice Society, but I think it was Justice Society Infinity, and then also you had multiple Earths with another Shazam, originally known as Captain Marvel. You had the Prime one on Earth 1, or main Earth, and it began to develop into something that really, the problem that DC had years earlier, years ago, with the original Crisis and with the original multiverse continuity. So what they did was they hired Grant Morrison to come back and pen Final Crisis. Final Crisis was just not a continuity fixer, but it allowed them to look at all of the different universes and see which ones would stay, which ones would go, or try to keep together a cohesive universe. But it did one thing, and it brought back the classic version of the Flash, Barry Allen, the guy who pretty much, in a way, helped reboot with comic books. Without the success of the Flash in 1956, we wouldn't be talking about comics today. Same thing with the multiverse. He came back and did a series called Flash Rebirth. But with Flash Rebirth, remember that word, it was about to become a rebirth of DC Comics, and it led to an event called Flashpoint. And that is something I will get into on the next episode. So please, folks, thank you for giving me your time and space and everything. And I wish I would go a little bit more or further and sketch each detail of each issues. But again, limited technology, it's kind of hard to right now. But I hope you continue to subscribe to my channel. Please let everyone know. Please pass this around. Please share this video. Share the shorts that I show you and everything. And hit the like button. Again, please comment on, open up and say anything to me. Because this is more like me opening up to you, someone who's closed and everything, and sheltered and just quiet. So this is my way of opening up and saying I'm giving my thanks to you by sharing what I love with others who love the same thing. So to everyone, folks, please have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful rest of the week. See you on the next couple of videos, and you have a blessed day, and as always, agape.